Strap in. You're in the race with F1 TV Premium. See what the race director sees with custom multi-view. Watch every jaw-dropping moment in live 4K UHD. Across up to 6 screens, uninterrupted. Experience ultimate live immersion with F1 TV Premium. Available on selected devices.
On today's Smart 7, EU and UK work to increase pressure on Russia, tributes to an F1 legend, and lots more. It's Friday, 21st of March. It's French Bread Day, and happy birthday, Matthew Broderick.
The Smart 7. It's news, but
not the news.
EU leaders met in Brussels on Thursday to advance their plans to put pressure on Vladimir Putin to engage with Donald Trump's ceasefire. There are plans for tough new sanctions, but a larger EU aid package for Ukraine, which could have been worth €40 billion, hasn't got any traction as yet. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer was hosting military leaders in London with a brief to draw up a peacekeeping agreement in the event of a truce.
We're moving from concepts to military plans, and that's an important step forward because the timetable is moving into sharper focus. And obviously nobody knows what the outcome will be, but what I do know is that if there is a deal, we must be prepared.
Ukrainian President Zelensky had a busy day, joining the EU leaders over Zoom and heading to Oslo to meet with Norwegian PM Jonas Gahr Store and agree a new €8 billion military aid package. Zelensky asked for continued pressure on Russia until a ceasefire can be agreed and an end to strikes on energy infrastructure.
We need to continue pressure Russia so that Putin stops manipulations and makes the concrete steps that all the world wants. And in particular, one of the first steps must be silence in the sky.
Tens of thousands of Israelis have taken to the streets to protest against what they see as an attack on democracy by Prime Minister Netanyahu. They're calling for a new ceasefire and accusing the PM of deliberately prolonging the war to stay in power, as Israeli jets struck targets in Gaza on Thursday, killing at least 90 people. In the House of Commons, Foreign Secretary David Lammy was also calling on Israel to resume the ceasefire and lift the ongoing blockade on aid and power on Gaza.
We strongly oppose Israel's resumption of hostilities. We urgently want to see a return to a ceasefire. Hamas must release all the hostages and negotiations must resume.
Shadow Foreign Secretary Dame Priti Patel was more concerned about Lammy's remarks earlier in the week that Israel was breaking international law by imposing the blockade. The Foreign Secretary has since rowed back on the remark, but Patel was concerned about the impact on the UK's relationship with Israel.
We need Israel to continue seeing the UK as a trusted partner. The strength of Britain's relationship with Israel also matters for our wider influence in the Middle East. Careless comments do not help.
Only last week, former SNP First Minister Nicola Sturgeon announced that she was intending to step down as an MSP in 2026. She's had a tough few years with a dramatic resignation from her leadership role, and she found both herself and her husband under suspicion of embezzlement in 2023. Thursday saw her now ex-husband Peter Murrell appear in Edinburgh Sheriff's Court on a single charge. Sturgeon and former SNP Treasurer Colin Beattie were formally cleared by Scottish police and told they were no longer under investigation. Speaking to the media in Glasgow, Nicola was relieved to be completely in the clear, an outcome she said she had always expected.
For almost 2 years I have had this cloud of investigation hanging over me. To reach this point today is obviously something I am relieved about. I've been trying to get on with my life and I now intend to do that.
Donald Trump was focused on Thursday on one of his campaign promises to shut down the US Department of Education. It seems counterintuitive, but Trump claims it will save money and allow the states to have a greater role in the education and curriculum of young people. The move in theory requires an act of Congress, but Trump held a ceremony in which he signed an executive order in the East Room, and it's not clear what happens next. Former White House staffer Merity Vinton is one of those federal employees who was made redundant by Elon's Department of Government Efficiency, and she says the whole thing has been a chaotic experience.
I love efficiency. What I feel like is happening is very not targeted. It is almost just randomly and chaotically firing people, not based on a mission or what our outcomes. Their approach to efficiency has actually been pretty inefficient.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro, Thomas Tuchel speaks some hard truths and tributes to a motor racing legend. Right after this.
Picture this, you're halfway through a DIY car fix, tools scattered everywhere, and boom, you realise you're missing a part. It's okay, because you know whatever it is, it's on eBay. They've got everything, brakes, headlights, cold air intakes, whatever you need, and it's guaranteed to fit, which means no more crossing your fingers and hoping you ordered the right thing. All the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
Welcome back. Thursday saw the Nations League return with two phases. The first sees the quarter-finals between the top teams. The second sees playoffs to decide which teams get promoted or demoted in their groups. All the ties take place over two legs, and Scotland beat Greece 1-0, while the Republic of Ireland faced Bulgaria and won 2-1. Friday sees the start of the World Cup 2026 qualifiers, with England in action against Albania, which is their first game under new boss Thomas Tuchel. He spoke to the media on Thursday and was frank in his criticism of the previous England manager and mindset.
The freedom of player, the expression of player, the hunger. They were more afraid to drop out of the tournament, in my observation, than having the excitement and hunger to win.
Eva Longoria has come a long way from her days as a desperate housewife. She's branched out as a director and owns her own production company, which made the biopic Flamin' Hot. She also made a docu-series for CNN, and she's due to receive a Platino Award, considered the Oscars of Latin America, for her representation of Latinos in Hollywood. So she's busy, but she still managed to spring a surprise on Jimmy Fallon with an incredible story about a long-lost relative.
I was on that show, Dr. Gates' show, and he's like, do you want to know who you're related to? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, Meryl Streep. And I was like, oh my God. I was like at the Golden Globe, and my friend was like, there's Meryl. I'm like, I'm not going to go up to Meryl Streep and say we're cousins. And as I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it, I hear, cousin! Cousin!
The world of sport lost a real character on Thursday with the death of Eddie Jordan. He was a champion kart racer, a Formula One team owner, a beloved TV pundit, and occasionally a rock and roll drummer. And he passed away aged 76 after a prolonged battle with prostate cancer. Jordan grew up in Dublin and discovered motor racing in the summer of 1970. He went on to set up the Jordan Formula One team in 1991, which saw Eddie give Michael Schumacher his Formula One debut, and he famously scored a 1-2 at the Belgian Grand Prix in 1998 when Damon Hill and Ralf Schumacher dominated the podium. Jordan sold the team and switched his attention to TV punditry, although he's also credited with the deal that saw designer Adrian Newey switch from Red Bull to Aston Martin. The world of motor racing joined in paying tributes to the Irishman on Thursday, including his Grand Prix winning driver Damon Hill. Rest in peace, Eddie.
He was irreverent, he was crazy, he influenced everyone, and there isn't a single person in that era and since really has not been affected positively in some way by Eddie. He never stopped, he never wasted a single second of his life.
You've been listening to the Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Savor the best of spring with great everyday prices at Whole Foods Market. Yellow low price signs help you save money without compromising quality. Like on organic chicken breast and thighs, ground beef, and more. All with no antibiotics ever. Plus, brighten your plate for less with 365 by Whole Foods Market Brioche. Smoked salmon, cherry tomatoes, organic apples, and more. Shop low prices daily at Whole Foods Market in-store and online.